Hi, this is Tim Hamilton, the co-host of the Maryland Crabs, and I'm here with a Crabcake for your listening pleasure. What's a Crabcake? Well, it's not quite a full episode, it's just a little snippet. Stay tuned and check it out. Make sure you check us out on theMarylandCrabs.com. You can follow us on Twitter at MD Crabs Podcast or find us on Facebook at the Maryland Crabs Podcast. Don't forget, subscribe, rate us, iTunes. Go there now. Okay, welcome to our crab cake without John, which are the best kind of crab cakes. You guys have not met John yet, have you?
No.
No. You know what? Because he's not a gardener and his lawn looks like hell. So I'm here with Karl Schrass and Anna Kramer. They are the proprietors of Annapolis Compost, yes?
Yeah.
So what do you guys do? Trick question, compost.
Well, we actually don't do the composting.
Okay, well, thanks for coming in. So we'll just be...
We do residential food scrap collection. We also service small businesses and offices. And what we do is we come by once a week and pick up the food scraps and other compostables that our customers collected throughout the week. And we come in, empty out the bucket, clean out the bucket, put in a new compostable liner, and then take everything to the composting facility.
So you're sort of like the recyclers, except you're not spilling the stuff all over my front lawn and street.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
you guys are actually good at what you do.
And we're much quieter because we do downtown by bicycle.
Yeah,
so.
and you don't judge with all the empty bottles of beer that are in the compost.
No.
and give
No.
ugly looks to me.
Just judging unhealthy eating.
So I'm looking at the picture. I'm looking at your website, which, by the way, is very good.
Thank you.
But you look it's very German, because all the Germans I know, and you're not German. I'm looking at Karl, but Anna's very German. She has a very, very pleasant German accent. My wife's German. She's not as quiet as you, but that's why I love her. So why is it that Europe and Germany in general, like if you think about Denmark and Norway, that they're just so much more environmentally conscious than we are here in the States?
I think it's a size thing. So they're much smaller countries.
Easier to keep clean?
Yeah, easier to keep clean and less places where you can kind of hide your trash. So, you don't have this big open spaces where you can just create more and more landfills. So I think they had to confront the issue of, overflowing landfills a lot sooner than we have. So as a result, we had to separate our trash in, I think, about 5 different trash cans when we lived in Germany. And most of it got recycled. The food waste got composted. And then, what was left over went to the landfill, which is usually the smallest of the 5 trash cans.
Yes, my family, we go to Ireland quite a bit. And whenever we go there, that's the sort of thing is that we have to drive to the recycling center where they have all those different bins and you have to sort through everything. Mm-hmm. Whereas here, I can't even get my family to take the toilet paper cardboard thingy and put it into the giant tank that holds everything. It's just, that's how lazy we've gotten.
Yeah.
But I am an avid composter. So I got the 2 compost bins. I got one right now that's got about 50 gallons of compost. It's been going for a couple of years. I keep leaves on the side. So I've read a book on composting by Mike McGrath. I don't know if you know Mike.
I don't know Mike now.
He's, I think he's a garden guru. He's on WMAL. He's a great guy. He does tomatoes, but he wrote a book. He gave me his book on composting. I actually sat and read it. And I read a book on soil. That's what my social life is. But I'm meticulous about it, and I drive my family crazy with it. But also I'm a hardcore gardener, so I grow a lot of our vegetables: tomatoes, peppers, jalapenos. Nice. We do cool weather, warm weather, so that compost is a really important part of it.
So your piles are doing well.
Yeah, so I wanted to do the 3-chambered one, which is the classic. My grandfather used to do that. So it was basically you put everything into one box, which is a 4x4, and then you dump into the second one and the third, and it burns down because it's like 10 to 1, something like that.
I think it's higher. I think it's like 30 to 1.
Yeah. So if you have like 30 pounds of recyclables, it'll burn down eventually to 1 pound of compost. So it's a lot of nothing at the end.
Yeah.
So I use that all the time when I plant, and all times of year. So I have it on top. I have it percolating down, and I've read about it. I've ran into my neighbors. It's just too much work for them. That they said that they're not into it. They don't want the smell. And I try and explain it's not going to smell if you do it right. They don't care. And so how did you guys get into this? So what you saw a need, and you kind of jumped in.
Exactly. Yeah, we live in an apartment building downtown, and we do have a small backyard. But our landlord and probably our neighbors too wouldn't probably be happy if you had a compost pile.
Which is the same reason I want to keep bees. And my wife said, absolutely not.
It's like not too much of an awareness about composting in general, or what it is, and that it doesn't smell if you do it right. But yeah, so we wanted to keep sorting out our food scraps, but there was no way of doing it from the part of the city, for instance. There's no citywide composting program, and the next composting facility is half an hour away. So
where is it? I know there was one.
Upper Marlboro.
Oh, okay.
So that's also...
So driving to drop off your compost just kind of negates the purpose of composting.
Yeah. Except if we take along all our neighbors' food scraps too. So that's how we got started.
But then you have to convince them to hold on to them.
Yeah.
I got one of them. My wife got that for me for Christmas. It was just pathetic. My siblings all howled and laughed laughter when they saw that I got one of those bins that you keep the compost in your
on your counter,
and then you take it out. But I dump it once a day. It's everything.
Yeah.
Even napkins and everything. But so you started with just kind of hauling all your neighbors' stuff.
Our neighbors were our first test audience when we decided to give it a go and give it a try and see how it would go, how we would set it up. We started in our apartment and then recruited some neighbors in our building actually to collect their scraps as well, just to see how everything would work out.
So you would haul it out there. So now you don't have a facility yourself, right?
Exactly.
So you're the middleman, middle people.
Yeah, we
middle
work. I mean, similar to how the garbage company, works. They don't necessarily own the landfill, so we provide the service, and we work with that composting facility that we just mentioned in Prince George's County in Upper Marlboro.
So how much do you take out a week? Because let's see, you do residential, office, cafes.
Yeah, right now. So we started in February. That's what it was our first pickup.
Right.
And our first load, I think, was about 150 pounds. Right now, our loads are just about 500 pounds.
Each week?
Each week.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that would get down to, let's do the quick math, 31. It's not as much as 500 pounds. I can't do the math.
Oh, your compost, yeah.
But so you're taking out 500 pounds a week. So you're making your rent. How long does it take you every week to do all this?
It takes us about 5 hours, 6 hours in the morning on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So you have regular jobs, and then you're going begging food scraps.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get up at 4 in the morning and hop on the bike.
I don't even get up at 4 in the morning to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can hold it. It's not a problem. She's down, it's just staring. Going, no, we get up and we get on our bikes.
Carl gets on the bike.
I get on the bike, yeah.
I take the car and I drive the Carl is downtown in Eastport, and I go. We also do Arnold and Cape St. Clair. So I go out there.
So you provide the bins for everybody?
Yes, we provide a 5-gallon bucket as well as a kitchen can.
Is that all grant money that you'd gotten, or is that money that that's out of your own pocket?
Bootstrap.
Yeah, we bootstrapped it all.
Wow, so are you going to make any money at this? Now I'm all worried about you guys.
You don't have to be worried.
We broke even. So
okay, well, all right.
Yeah.
So since February, that's great.
Yeah. I mean, we're still both working full time. So.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so explain the process. Explain like soup to nuts. Let's say that you come knock on my door and you want to convince me to do this, to participate in the program. What's the cost? What's the process? How does it work? Do I get the compost back?
Yeah, so I mean, kind of the pitch is reducing your environmental footprint. So, we talked to you about why you'd want to compost in the first place. So, when you send food scraps to the landfill, they're obviously not going to any use. And I think that studies have shown, do you remember how much percentage of landfills?
It's 20% of landfills is food scraps.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they just kind of sit there and rot and produce methane because they don't have the favorable conditions that they have.
Right, because you need nitrogen and carbon.
Yeah, so they just kind of sit there and produce greenhouse gases.
Wow. All right.
Yeah. So, that's obviously a big reason why you wouldn't want to send them to the landfill.
All right,
and
so
then,
I'm feeling guilty. So
you're feeling guilty. So then, okay, what can you do? So instead of sending to the landfill, you can compost them. When you compost food scraps, with the proper mixture and the proper setting, you create really, really rich soil that puts nutrients back in the ground, for your garden, for your lawn. It's an all-around kind of silver bullet for our environmental woes. It captures more stormwater. It reduces greenhouse gases by storing them in the soil. It hits all those points. So then you might be interested. So you would go to the website. All of our signups we take through our website.
And your website is
AnnapolisCompost.com.
Right.
Thank you.
Marketing lesson.
We're new at this. So then you go to the
and Facebook too. I follow you guys on Facebook and sign up for their email. They got a great email that goes out once a week.
Yeah.
So we have a newsletter. We have our website, AnnapolisCompost.com. And we're also on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. So all of the social media channels you can find us.
So I follow you on that, and then throughout the week, I'm putting my scraps, and I'm putting my apple cores, I'm putting my lettuce, I'm putting.
And you can put with us. You can put meat, bones.
Oh, can you really?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I don't do that.
So and in the backyard setting, you wouldn't want to because that would attract pests. But since we work with an industrial facility, they have really huge piles, and
they do like roadkill too. I think like deer and stuff like that.
They probably do. Yeah,
they definitely can. Yeah.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, and they have such high heat and just such large quantities, and they monitor them so intensely.
They kill all the pathogens.
They kill all the pathogens, exactly.
All right, so you're showing up at the crack of dawn or I guess I put it out like I do.
You put it out the night before.
Right, so you're getting up at 4 a.m. on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. You're pedaling.
I'm pedaling.
And you're sensible, so you're driving.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you're collecting all these things, and so then what do you have? A pickup? Do you have a truck? You have
a van transport.
All right, so 500 pounds. I'm trying to think about how much that would be. That'd probably be
So it's about
a couple large coolers, right?
Yeah, it's about 200 gallons, just over 200 gallons probably of food scraps because we have about 40 customers right now. And most people have a 5-gallon bucket. You can get up to 2 5-gallon buckets. And yeah, so that we throw that on the back of my bike or in the back of the truck and haul it down there.
So how much is it? So it's a subscription.
It's a subscription.
So how much is that?
When you sign up on the website, we do have a 2-week free trial. So for people who might be concerned about smells or work or anything, they can just try it out for 2 weeks to see if they like it, if it's for them. And then after the 2 weeks, it's a monthly fee of $29.
Okay. So $30 for all the compost. Now, once it gets sent out, but you have the option to either get that back or you can donate that, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, we do offer compost back twice a year, in the spring, once in the fall. And people who don't have a use for it because they don't have a garden can instead donate it. And we will take it to a local community garden.
Yeah, we were just at Grow Annapolis last night talking to them.
Oh, they do great stuff.
And they do great stuff, and compost is one of their biggest expenses. So we're looking to donate with them in the fall.
Yeah, Grow Annapolis is fantastic. They used to have that. Was that them that they had the community garden that was down by the old rec center on St. Mary Street? I think it was. Yeah,
we've only been in Annapolis 2 years, so it was just
It was around that time. Yeah, they do. But that's a great thing. And I think for a while there, they had a garden, not a community garden, but at least a vegetable and herb garden over at the governor's mansion. I don't know if that's still going on, but compost it was really interesting when I learned about compost too. This is where I think the gardeners are still tuning in. Everyone else is like, this is the boring part. But it was that it's not a fertilizer per se, but it basically breaks down fertilizers because it's full of the microorganisms that break it down. So if you're putting it into the soil, it aerates the soil. It also holds on to the water like kind of a sponge. It acts as a mulch, and then it breaks down any of the fertilizers. So that's a great option. I mean, so you guys live in an apartment though.
Yeah.
So you don't do any gardening.
Well, we do have a little container garden on the sidewalk out front.
I don't know. You guys kind of look like you need a garden.
Yeah, well, we're working on it. Actually, we're the hippies in Ward 1, so we have like a container garden out front.
Oh, you're the ones.
Yeah, we're the ones. Yeah,
you guys might want to move over to Ward 8 and get more into that sort of hippie-ish. You guys that's where you can have chickens and.
I did build 3 raised beds with one of my neighbors in the backyard yesterday.
So what were you doing over in Germany?
Well, Anna's from Germany.
Well, yeah. So you were growing up over there. Yeah. So that's what you were doing.
So we met on a study abroad back in 2010 now, when I was over there just learning German.
You speak German?
I do speak German. Yeah. And then when she was in the U.S. for a year, I went back with her. I studied for my master's over there. And then ended up working for a while. I was actually working at the UN, working on climate change policy.
Whoa.
So.
Make me feel stupid. I do advertising.
And then we were there for about 5 years together. Then I was itching to come home and had a really great opportunity come up and took it. And we landed in Annapolis.
So you've been here 2 years. It's ridiculously hot. Are you used to this now?
I'm not used to this.
This is crazy,
right? I was talking to Karl. He said always that he doesn't like summer. And I was like, what's not to like about summer? It's so nice and warm. You have these beautiful days.
Welcome to Maryland, my friend.
It's disgusting.
It's disgusting. Yeah. I love it. I can't take winter.
I have to shower 3 times a day.
Yeah, I'm a big shower too. But the cost it takes to heat that shower, you got to do the more composting. That's
I shower cold, so.
Jesus.
It's that German. Yeah. She can't let herself enjoy it.
I know. Yeah, my wife's the same way. I just pictured that. Just going, no, the heat, that's a luxury. Well, Karl came in here. It's literally, 95 out right now? 96?
Karl said 97.
The heat index is like 110. Yeah. And I offered them beers when they came in. You guys want a beer? And Karl's like, no, I'm going to go running later. I'm like, of course you are.
Much later.
Why wouldn't you? Yeah. So where do you want to take this? I mean, you said you have 40 subscribers right now, and you've been in business since February, so 5 months. So where do you want to go with it next?
I mean, keep going on the path we're going, more or less. So it's been good. We've had a really good response from the community. Early on, Annapolis Green was a huge, Elvia and Lynn there were a huge help to us, and they helped us get, our first cadre of customers. And since then we've been growing pretty steadily. We're really looking to expand next, I think, into the office market and kind of do offices, people that produce a little bit larger amounts of waste, maybe some more coffee shops and cafes around the area as well.
Oh, the number of coffee grounds and everything. I guess restaurants have got to be huge. The number, I mean.
Too huge.
That's massive. If you think about the food that, I don't say wasted, I mean, even like the crab houses, there's a couple companies that specialize in crab. There was a company that went under about 8-10 years ago. It was called Chesapeake Blue, and it was a company over on the Eastern Shore, and they specialized in crab compost. And it was great compost. It was fantastic, but I think they couldn't get the licensing, or there was a problem with it. So they went under, and now there's a lobster compost out of Maine. Yeah. And they do, strictly lobster shell and everything. And it's really, but it's wildly expensive as lobster compost would be. But I'm just thinking about in terms of the restaurants. I mean, that's got to be massive amounts of waste.
Yeah. So we started at the kind of the other end. So the household producers, composting is available for restaurants in Annapolis at a limited scale through Veterans Compost. So I know they pick up from Galway Bay, they pick up from Harry Brown's, and I think they might do a couple other restaurants around the area. And they own their own farm and composting facilities. Okay. And last time I talked with them, they were kind of at capacity. But I know they're also looking to open one of their own facilities here in the county.
Is that something you'd like to do along the way, is open your own facility? Anna just shot him a look. No, don't.
I don't know, maybe. I mean... Right now, it's only been 4 or 5 months, so we're still.
Well, dream big.
Yeah, I mean,
there's grants, there's all those things.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, I think it would be. I mean, anything that we can do to, I think, keep growing, and if it gets to the point where having our own facility would be one way to do that, I think we'd be open to that. I think we're also interested in working with farmers. So the way the composting regulations are written right now, they only come into effect at a certain level of size for the composting pile. So looking at where there's extra capacity and working with local farmers so that, also we can maybe give them compost that they could use in their fields to support them, or, just kind of find a way that we could better support the local food movement as well. So
out of curiosity, so we talked about, let's say that I'm donating compost, or I'm providing the compost with a service. So every Wednesday you're coming and picking up. How do you determine how much compost I get back?
Everyone gets the same amount.
All right. Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very democratic, I guess.
Yeah. And I mean, at the household level, the scale isn't too great. And, if someone really needs more compost.
Yeah, we're flexible.
We're flexible.
I'll see when Jones and going, oh my God, we are so low on compost right now. Put that on the list, sweetie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Someone's going to email us requesting a ton of compost, but yeah.
That's what I do. I mean, I do 50-50. So I do raised beds, almost exclusively for that reason. And I'll do 50 topsoil, 50 compost for that reason. And then I add throughout the year because it still continues to burn down. I think the rule, people are always afraid that it's going to smell, that it's going to be gross, you get the flies. And we're talking about two different things. Like in the house, I have the bin with like the filter on it. So I take it out once a day. So it's not a problem. And then the compost, as long as you do it correctly, there's really no odor. You shouldn't smell. If you smell, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. So the caddy we provide is actually, it doesn't have a filter, but it's ventilated on all sides. So that means all the moisture in the food waste can evaporate, which is what causes ultimately the smell. So even if it sits there for 3 days with food scraps in it, it's not going to smell. And then the bucket that we have does have a screw-on lid, which is smell-safe also.
Smell-safe, yeah. It's an airtight lid, so people can keep it inside. And we keep it inside our apartment kitchen. A lot of our customers keep it outside their back door or something like that. Either way, if it's inside, it's not going to smell. If it's outside, you're not going to attract bugs or pests or anything like that.
I got to tell you, it isn't, like, until you start doing this, it is amazing how much you don't realize how much you waste.
Oh, yes.
So we're a family of 4, and my kids they plow through fruit, when it comes to it. But I have the gallon container. I think it's a gallon. It's a metal container. I got it online. It was like 30, or I got it, my wife got it. And it's a caddy that I keep right next to the sink. So if I'm peeling potatoes or the kids eat bananas or whatever, it all goes in there. I don't do meats, obviously, or anything like that. But I empty that once a day, easy. And then if like last night we had corn, so we had like a huge bag full of the corn husks, watermelon, pumpkins. But I mean, when you start collecting compost, it is staggering how much you waste and how much you have.
We hear that from our customers a lot. We're amazed how much of our garbage is.
Well, do you know what that? So we were in Ireland about 10 years ago, and so we were told that we had to not compost, we had to collect. We had to recycle. So it's bottles and everything. And so they said everything. They said, so it's a toilet paper roll. And so we recycle everything here. So we said, fine. So we were there for a week, a family of 4. And at the end of the week, when we put out our trash, it was one small bag of trash for 4 of us. Whereas here, that would have been 4 or 5. And that was when it really hit me. And I'm not granola. I'm not hippie-ish. I'm not any of that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, all these years we've been wasting this much stuff. And especially as a gardener, I'd buy all this fertilizer all the compost. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm buying this stuff when I'm throwing all this stuff out all the time. So we've gotten really good about it.
Additional benefits of composting in the backyard or with us is that you really, really reduce your garbage output. So we only take our trash out maybe once a month because we don't even produce that much anymore. Plus, it doesn't smell, so it doesn't matter if it sits there for a month, because it's really just plastics that can't be recycled and no food scraps.
So what non-food stuff? Like I do, like, again, like I said, the paper towel rolls and the toilet paper rolls, and I'll do like napkins and all that sort of thing. And I guess you can do paper because it's all soy-based.
Yes, you can.
I mean, I don't know if they would give it to you guys, but I mean, I do it because you're supposed to add 50% nitrogen, 50% carbon, and carbon's like dried leaves, and for you guys know this, joking me like, yeah, I know, but it's like dried leaves and newspaper safe because as long as it's not the glossy, but because it's got the soy based ink.
Yeah.
But so what non-food items do y'all take in the
So
bins?
yeah, all uncoated paper products that have been soiled with food, for instance, pizza boxes, which they usually get greasy, either on the bottom or both on the bottom and the top. And then that means you can't recycle them anymore. They're not good for recycling. But you can still, still don't.
When I get home, I gotta go out to my recycling bin. I got something to do.
So yeah, we can take those. We can also take all compostable tableware. So there's compostable products out there where it says compostable in an industrial setting, which means it wouldn't break down in the backyard compost again.
Oh, gotcha. But
it looks like plastic, it feels like plastic, but it's
that's the stuff you get like Whole Foods when you eat there. They have
they have compostable.
Yeah, and Brown Mustache downtown, they use it as well as Rutabaga Craft Juicery in West Annapolis. So we take from both of them, we take their compostable tableware.
Gotcha. But you couldn't. I couldn't do that because I can't get it hot enough.
Exactly. It doesn't get hot enough yet.
And what we're talking about with that is that a pile has to be 160 degrees.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, so a pile generates heat by itself around 160 degrees. So if you put your hand in it, it would be ridiculously hot, and that kills all the pathogens that's in the food. That's why it's all pure. So it's got to get to a certain temperature, and some people have trouble doing that for various reasons. But I think the industrial places don't have a problem, so it's easy.
No,
you should see those piles. And I mean, it's such an eye opener for everyone that thinks that compost smells too, because we go there and we're looking at acres of compost, and that's still processing.
And they have those big augers which turn them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they have like the Gore-Tex fabric that goes over top to shield it from rain and all of that. But we go there every morning, and we're in the pile of just the food scraps, not even the compost yet. And it really doesn't smell offensive at all. I mean, it actually has a kind of a sweet, almost like a yeasty smell, like you have when you bake bread.
Yeah, I do sourdough because I'm a big sissy.
Yeah,
so I got to feed my starter every night.
Oh yeah.
So I'm so used to I can smell now when it's like having a pet.
Yeah, it is.
I take better care of my starter than I do my kids. So it's feeding it every night. And but it's got that smell that kind of you get. It's funny when you get in tune with all these kind of processes of nature. You kind of understand the smells and everything else that goes along with that. So right now you have 40. You want to expand. Do you get to a point where you're like, we got to cut off because we can't do this in our day job?
Yeah, so right now with the current arrangement with the facility, we do have a limit. It's probably about 100 to 150, somewhere in there. But I mean, for us, that would be getting to 100, 150 would be a huge success. Yeah. And
you're already up to 40 after just 4 months.
Yeah, so I mean, we're happy to keep growing.
Spaces are limited, people.
Yeah, exactly. See, she's getting the marketing thing right now.
She is.
That's called a call to action, Karl.
Yeah.
That she just did. She made people panic a little bit. So how do they sign up? They go to the website. You have a 2-week free trial, right?
Correct. Yes.
And so after that, you can say, I want to continue this. I want to try it. And so you can either get the compost back on a regular basis, or you can donate it to. I'm sure you have a list of local people.
Yeah, we have a lot of people that are interested. So yeah.
Oh, okay, and sign up for your email. That goes. I said they came out every week, but I think
it's every 2 weeks.
Every
we have
2 weeks.
A newsletter. Yeah.
Sign up on the website on the front page. If you scroll down, we have some information on what we're currently doing with the business, some recipes, news, compost related news items.
So it's AnnapolisCompost.com. And you can find you on Annapolis Compost on Facebook.
Correct.
Yep.
And you're on Instagram.
Also Annapolis Compost.
And on Twitter you are
ANP Compost.
I do follow you there. I'm a Twitter junkie.
Okay.
I love Twitter. And so all those places, a website's really good. A newsletter's really good. I would sign up, but I already do it. So there. But I'd like to come hang out one day and see the facility. I actually really love that stuff.
Oh yeah. You can come along and. Yeah, they do tours and everything, so you're not the only one that's interested.
Yeah.
You and a bunch of other gardening nerds.
Yeah, I'm a gardening nerd. I swear, it used to be, I'm going back to my college reunion right now, and I'm talking to some of the guys, like, oh my God, we thought you'd be dead by now. What are you doing? I'm like, I'm gardening. Like, no, seriously. I'm like, no, seriously, I garden. I garden my ass off. That's what I do.
Garden saved your life.
Well, it's not really. I'm still out till 2 a.m. drinking beer and gardening. It's more drunk gardening. It's just going, I'm going to try and crossbreed a radish and a potato. Let's see what happens. But right now, it's just watering. I spend spend an hour and a half watering every night and then going through turning the compost. And yeah, I don't have a social life at all. It's kind of pathetic. And now I'm tired of talking about it. But in the meantime, folks, you can find us on Facebook. We have a page and we have a group. You can find us at info@themarylandcrabs.com if you're sending us an email. We are at themarylandcrabs.com. That's our webpage. You can sign up for our podcast at Apple Podcasts or Google Play. You can find us on Alexa. We are not on Instagram yet, so you guys have us beat there. But on Twitter, we're at MD Crabs Podcast. I'm at Tim Hamilton 47 and John's at Annapolis. And I want to thank you guys for coming in. This is great. I'm actually been watching you guys for a while, and I want to get you in. That's the gardening nerd in me. But I want to have you guys back when you hit your capacity. When you open your new facility. So Karl, Anna, thanks for coming in. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
This has been the Maryland Crabs Podcast with Tim Hamilton and John Fernay. Sure to follow them in all the regular places, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and online at themarylandcrabs.com. Take a moment to rate us on iTunes. Now, get the hell out of my kitchen. Seriously, go!
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.